Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot. Today is Sunday, October the 14th. Hope everybody's loving the show, and hope you're checking it out on Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any place you find your podcasts. Hope you're following the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all social media. If you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. Like I said, today is Sunday, October the 14th. My name is Tom. And a lot going on this week. All kinds of news coming out of the WWE. Most of it surrounding the Crown Jewel event coming up on November 2nd. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. Going to see what's going on around the world of pro wrestling this week. First of all, on Raw, had a couple of pretty significant heel turns on Raw. First and foremost was Bobby Lashley. The WWE's kind of been hinting at this ever since they hooked him up with Lio Rush. Lio Rush, obviously, a natural born heel, and looks like that's the direction that they're going to take Lashley, which I like. I like the fact that they put him with a mouthpiece, because Lashley's not the greatest on the mic, but he's phenomenal in the ring. So I think these two being paired together is going to be really great for Bobby Lashley's career going forward. Hopefully it results in him getting a pretty big push, and we'll see what's going on from there. Another heel turn that happened on Raw this past week. The Bellas, Nikki and Brie, turned on Ronda Rousey, and it's looking like Nikki Bella is going to be the one to challenge Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at the Evolution pay-per-view coming up. Not totally unexpected. I've been looking for this to happen the last couple of weeks since they've been teaming the Bellas with Ronda, and the Bellas obviously are going to have a pretty significant spot in the Evolution pay-per-view. They may not be the greatest in-ring performers, but as far as mainstream popularity and things like that, with their all the reality shows and all their other business ventures that they got going on, it just makes good business sense to put them in a prominent role in the Evolution pay-per-view. I know a lot of people aren't real happy about it. There's definitely better in-ring competitors they could have put in there with Ronda for this match at Evolution, but like I said, it's not totally unexpected. Another big piece of news coming out of Raw was the return of Kurt Angle in the Battle Royal that Baron Corbin held for a spot in the WWE World Cup tournament coming up. Angle came in under a mask dressed as the Conquistador, which I thought was pretty funny. Can't wait to see what Edge and Christian might have to say about that one. But anyway, so yeah, Kurt Angle's back. Looks like he's going to have an in-ring role, at least for the time being. Don't know if he'll go back to being the GM at any point, or if he's going to do more actual wrestling. We'll have to see how that's going to go. Another big return officially announced at Raw was Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement to team with Triple H. You're going to see a match of a tag team match, D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction, which is right now scheduled for the Crown Jewel event coming up. Again, that's I'll get into the specifics of that later, but as of right now, DX versus Brothers of Destruction, classic tag team match here for the biggest names in WWE history. Should be an awesome match wherever and whenever it takes place. Another announced match for the Evolution pay-per-view is a tag team match with Alexa Bliss and Mickie James taking on Trish Stratus and Lita. Now, these were originally set as two singles matches, but it looks like on Raw they merged the two into a tag team match, which, I see no problem with that. I mean, Trish and Lita, their careers and history speak for themselves. Are two of the greatest female performers in the history of WWE. Alexa and Mickie James, well, Alexa's probably the top women's heel in WWE right now. Mickie James, another WWE legend who still happens to be actively wrestling full-time, but she's right up there with Trish and Lita, so that should be an awesome match for the Evolution pay-per-view. Moving on to SmackDown, Charlotte and Becky Lynch had a rematch from their last pay-per-view match, and it basically ended in no contest or count out, whatever. This was the one where the disqualification rule was waived. Had Becky gotten herself disqualified again, she would have lost the title. I kind of made this prediction last week saying that it wasn't going to have a clear-cut winner in this match. It was either going to be a count-out or a no contest, something like that, where Becky holds on to the title, and there's no clear-cut winner in the match. So the Paige announced later on for Evolution there's going to be a third match with Charlotte and Becky, and this one is going to be the first ever last woman standing match. And these are definitely the two best ones, I think, to put in this match. Really, any of the NXT 4 horsewomen, Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, or Sasha Banks, any two of them could potentially pull off a match of this caliber. So this, I'm hoping, well, no, I take that back. I'm going to say Ronda and Nikki Bella is going to be the main event of the Evolution show. But Charlotte and Becky, I think, is probably has the potential to steal that show. So I don't know how, I don't know where they'll put it on the card, but I'm not thinking it's going to be directly before the Raw Women's Championship match. Another World Cup qualifying match on SmackDown. Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe. Jeff Hardy came out on top in this one. So far in that World Cup, you've got John Cena, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, and Randy Orton also had a match against the Big Show, which Randy Orton was victorious, so he'll be part of the World Cup as well. We have the 1000th episode of SmackDown this coming week on Tuesday. A lot of big names announced to make appearances on this show. Probably the biggest one for me is the announcement of Rey Mysterio returning full-time to WWE starting at SmackDown 1000 with a match against Shinsuke Nakamura for a spot in the World Cup tournament. I mean, Rey Mysterio and Nakamura should have, well, that'll definitely be the match of the night. I would think that most likely would be the main event of the show. So I'm excited to see this one. Some news coming out of New Japan. Looks like Chris Jericho's reemerged in New Japan. He, at their last big show, he attacked Evil while he was on his way to the ring. This is basically kind of getting back at Evil for getting involved with Jericho's program with Naito. When Jericho attacked Naito, of course, Evil came out to help because they're part of the same group in New Japan. So Jericho attacked Evil and challenged him to a match for the New Japan or the IWGP Intercontinental Championship at their show coming up on November 3rd. Some Bullet Club news. We've got Jay White, Jado, and Gato are new members of the Bullet Club OGs, or the Firing Squad, whatever you want to call them, with Tama Tonga, Haku, Tangaloa, that faction of the Bullet Club, which of course they've been actively recruiting the last couple of weeks. So it looks like these three are the ones that they've taken on. Are they going to end up getting anybody else? I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. Ring of Honor last week had a match with the Villain Marty Scurll versus Hurricane Helms. This was an awesome match. If you have not seen it yet, do yourself a favor and check this match out, because it was a really good match. Check it out on the Fight app or however you can, but definitely watch that match. 205 Live had the 205 Live debut for Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. Really cool to see Bennett back on WWE TV. Of course, he and Maria both have been off for a little while. Maria obviously was pregnant, just gave birth to the couple's first child about 6 months ago, and Mike Bennett was out. He had gone to rehab for some substance issues. By all accounts, he's doing great. He's been clean and sober ever since, and good to see him back on WWE TV. He's been back doing house shows and dark matches and things like that for a little while. It's good to finally see him back on one of their main programs, and it's definitely another boost for the 205 Live brand. Another big name for them to kind of elevate the brand a little more. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of position he has. I'm sure he'll end up in the cruiserweight title picture sooner rather than later. So 205 Live definitely still one of I think one of the best in-ring shows that WWE's got going on right now. And Bennett and Maria can only add to that. So I'm excited to see exactly where they're going to go with this one. for NXT this week, the big match was Ricochet, Adam Cole, and Pete Dunne for the North American title. Ricochet did come out on top in this one. He's still the North American champion. This was a fantastic three-way match. Again, another one I say, if you haven't seen it yet, get on the WWE Network, check it out. It was a great three-way match with these guys. Next week, we've got the tag team titles with the Undisputed Era defending against the War Raiders. This one's been a long time coming. Yeah, I figure Undisputed Era is probably going to find a way to retain, whether it's a disqualification or winning by some type of underhanded tactics, whatever it might be, because this is a rivalry that I think they're probably going to carry on for a little while. It's been building for a little while already, and this is going to be the first match between these two teams, so it'll be pretty cool to see how this one's going to play out. The Mae Young Classic this week was a match that I've actually been waiting for since the tournament started. Mia Yim versus Caitlyn. My opinion, I know I posted this on Twitter earlier in the week. This was the best match of the tournament so far, and every match in the tournament's been great. Has not been a bad match yet, but this, for my money, has been the best match of the tournament. I hated, that one of them had to lose because they are two of my favorite female superstars, but Mia Yim did come out on top in this one, advanced to the quarterfinals. Again, I have not read any spoilers on this. I've been actively trying to avoid them. I have not, been avoiding any. I've been avoiding any kind of articles about the Mae Young Classic and things like that, just because, I want to be surprised. I want to, watch it unfold as it's happening on TV. I know all these matches have already been taped a couple of months ago, but I've been doing everything I can to avoid seeing, who beats who and who's in the finals for Evolution and things like that. Some interesting rumors floating around this week on the Wrestling Observer. They were made mention that Cody Rhodes, and I would assume the Young Bucks as well, are looking into possibly doing an All-In 2 and maybe even All-In 3, potentially in Chicago again or somewhere in Southern California. That's definitely huge news. Hopefully that's something that does come to fruition, because All-In, I said it before, was the best show that I've been to in a number of years. And they can only go up from there. I would think if they were to announce All-In 2, if they were to go for a bigger arena, just for example, if they did do it here in Chicago again, if they were able to get into the Allstate Arena, which is typically a WWE venue, I have no doubt they would sell it out. I mean, it's an 18,000 seat arena, so it would almost double the capacity for what they had for All-In 1, but there's no doubt in my mind they could sell it out. So this is definitely something I'm going to be watching pretty closely, and hoping that it does come true. So we'll see how that goes. Some Impact rumors going around. Of course, Bound for Glory is going on tonight. There's a rumor floating around that Chris Jericho could make an appearance. Wouldn't surprise me. He pops up everywhere else. So, and he does have the Jericho Cruise coming up at the end of this month. And, there is a big Impact presence on the Jericho Cruise. There's also a big Ring of Honor presence, New Japan presence. Basically, kind of like All In, everybody's represented except for the WWE, really. So, I have to keep an eye on that tonight, see if he does show up, and if so, what's he there for? Who's he going after? There's a big Impact versus Ring of Honor match going on the cruise, so I would think most likely would be to promote the Jericho Cruise. I don't know if he'll be doing anything, getting involved in any storylines or anything like that, but that wouldn't surprise me either. Another announcement from Impact for Bound for Glory tonight. Willie Mack is going to be making his Impact debut, teaming with Rich Swann, and they are going to be going against Matt Sydal and Ethan Page. Should be a great match with these four guys. Some WWE, not really a rumor, but some more news from WWE. Chelsea Green has signed with WWE, so she'll be reporting to the Performance Center, and I'd expect she'd probably debut on NXT in their women's division, because they do, they have been building up some of their female superstars ever since they lost, not really lost, but ever since like Ember Moon, and a lot of their female superstars moved up to Raw and SmackDown. Which tends to happen on a more or less yearly basis. Their roster gets a little bit thinned out with people getting called up, so they have to bring up new talents. And I'm sure Chelsea Green is going to be a huge part of their women's division in a very short period of time here. Some bad news out of WWE. Kevin Owens apparently is out for 4 to 6 months with a knee injury. Read an interesting story that when he comes back, he's going to be working as a babyface. I don't know if I necessarily like that. I mean, Kevin Owens is a natural heel. He's great at it. So, but the fans, tend to cheer him anyway because he's one of those guys that the fans just really get behind. So, you have to see how much truth there is in that. But yeah, 4 to 6 months could potentially miss WrestleMania, which would, be really kind of sad for him. Hopefully, he's able to come back in time at least to appear at WrestleMania. I don't know if he'd be able to get involved in any major storylines, but it doesn't mean he can't do some kind of run-in WrestleMania and interject himself in a match, or at least maybe be part of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, win the Battle Royal, who knows. But hopefully he's able to heal up pretty quick and get back sooner rather than later. Another piece of information from WWE. Apparently Bray Wyatt's going to be making his return to television pretty soon. He's been not out really, but hasn't been featured on TV too much since Matt Hardy's retirement. And I don't think they're necessarily repackaging him, but from what I read, he is going to be set for a major push when he does return to TV. Now, they've tried this before. He has been WWE champion in the past, not for a very long time, but he, the fans, I mean, he's another one. The fans love Bray Wyatt, whether he's babyface, heel, whatever. The fans are behind him. So giving him a push, whether it's the Universal title, Intercontinental title, making him part of another tag team, who knows? But he's definitely earned a more prominent spot. So hopefully, whatever plans they have for him, it will work out a little bit better than previous plans. Like I said, it just seems, they kind of build things up really big with him, and then the payoff is not the greatest, and it's not any fault of Bray Wyatt's. It's just it's just kind of the way things have worked out. So we'll see what happens with him. Hopefully he'll be back on TV in the next few weeks, and we'll see exactly what this quote-unquote push consists of that he's supposedly going to be getting. Something kind of cool with WWE, I guess. Matt Hardy did an interview with JR on his podcast this past week, and I guess this would be the official announcement because I haven't seen anything about it on WWE television, but there's going to be a Broken or Woken Hardy Halloween special on the WWE network. I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, anything that they've done with the Broken universe at the Hardy compound has been entertaining as hell, so I can only imagine what a Halloween special would consist of. I believe it said it's going to be like a half-hour special, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's supposed to be out sometime at the end of this month. I'm sure it'll probably air like right after Raw or SmackDown. I would assume probably the week of Halloween. So yeah, that should be something to watch. Bound for Glory for Impact Wrestling is going on tonight. A lot of big matches going on for this one. Looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty good pay-per-view. We got LAX versus the OGs. And LAX, of course, is Santana, Ortiz, and Conan. And the OGs is Homicide, Hernandez, and King. It's what's being called a concrete jungle death match. I would assume that's basically just a street fight with these two. The storyline that's been playing out with these guys on Impact TV the last few weeks has been really good. I've liked it. If you guys have missed it, there's just a lot to go over with this one. But it's basically being presented as two rival gang factions basically going at each other. They've been under a ceasefire the last couple of weeks. Of course, that ceasefire was broken this past week when LAX beat the OGs down on the go-home show of Impact before Bound for Glory. For the Impact Championship tonight, you've got Austin Aries versus Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, whatever you want to call him, John Hennigan. This match should be unbelievable. I mean, these are two of the top, the two top superstars in Impact Wrestling right now. And John Hennigan has been one of my favorites for a long time. Just the stuff that he can do in the ring and outside the ring, and everything else is just ridiculous. He's a crazy good athlete. And Austin Aries, same thing. Phenomenal wrestler. More of a mat-based wrestler, where John Hennigan is more of an aerial guy. So good clash of styles, and should be just a fantastic match. Need to take a pause right here. I will be back in just a second. Alright, sorry about that. Had to pause my recording. There was looked like my video was starting to mess up a little bit. It should be all fixed here, so hopefully it wasn't messing up too much before I did that. I don't want to have to record the whole show over again. But so where was I here? Oh yeah, talking about the Bound for Glory event coming up tonight. We've also got OVE versus Brian Cage, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. in an OVE rules match. Basically, again, like a street fight, really are no rules. Eddie Edwards versus Moose. Tessa Blanchard versus Taya Valkyrie for the Knockouts Championship. Should be another fantastic match. Would be pretty cool to see Johnny Impact and Taya Valkyrie come out with the Impact Champion World Championship and Knockouts Championship. That's really what I'm hoping to see. Like I said, I just think it'd be cool considering they're husband and wife. Already talked about Matt Sydal and Ethan Page versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack, and then we have Allie versus Su Yung once again. This is actually an interesting storyline. I really kind of like this. Su Yung, for those of you that don't know, she's kind of almost like a female version of the Undertaker in some respects. Her thing is locking her opponents inside of a casket, and then basically they're never heard from again. They don't come flat out and say the person is dead, but they and Allie's been kind of working to make sure that she never puts anybody in the casket again. That's what happened to Rosemary. She hasn't been seen on Impact TV since she lost a casket match to Su Yung. Now, apparently tonight, Allie is going to be traveling to the land of the undead or something like that with Father James Mitchell, of course, Abyss's old manager, helping her with that. So I think tonight you may see the reemergence of Rosemary on Impact, which I think would be cool. I like Rosemary a lot. She's probably my favorite female superstar on Impact. So it'd be good to see her back on TV again. And then one more match with on Bound for Glory. We've got Eli Drake versus I guess a mystery opponent. It's just listed as to be announced right now, so it'll be interesting to see who this is going to be. And then the other big shows going on this weekend is Ring of Honor Glory by Honor. This, of course, was a two-night show. Night one was on Friday, and night two is tonight in Philadelphia at the old ECW Arena. But Friday night, the matches that took place, Hangman Page defeated Shane Taylor. The Kingdom, TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marseglia, hope I'm saying that right, defeated Kenny King and Flip Gordon. Briscoes defended the ROH Tag Team titles and retained them against the Bouncers, the Beer City Bruiser, and Brian Malonis. Marty Scurll and Hurricane Helms had another rematch, ended in double DQ, so it looks like they're advancing this storyline a little more. It'd be interesting to see what the next step is for these two. Bully Ray defeated Jonathan Gresham, and the Bullet Club, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks defeated SoCal Uncensored to retain the 6-man Tag Team Championship, and the main event Friday night was Jay Lethal successfully defending the ROH World title against Silas Young. Now, coming up tonight at the TV tapings in Philly, Jay Lethal, Jonathan Gresham, and a mystery partner taking on the Kingdom, Matt Taven, TK O'Ryan, and Vinny Marseglia. Cody's taking on Kenny King, and the Briscoes are defending the tag team titles in a 3-way match against the Young Bucks and the Addiction. So that should be that tag team match is one I definitely need to see. Now tonight is TV taping, so I would assume those matches will be on TV within the next couple of weeks. Cannot wait to see that 3-way tag match. Three of the top teams in the world. Quite honestly, there's no other way to say it. So it should be an amazing match with those guys. Some other interesting news with the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club Elite, which is Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Marty Scurll, have all been putting out posts on social media lately with their new shirts, which that's not the surprise. But the interesting part is they're all saying, this is my final Bullet Club style T-shirt, and it just happens to be my favorite. They've all basically said the same thing, which of course is leading to a lot of speculation As far as exactly what that means, does that mean they're, leaving New Japan? Are they signing with WWE? Because they have said in the past, whatever they do next, they're going to do as a group. So I would think, if WWE is signing one of them, they're going to have to sign all of them. Or at least that's the impression that these guys have been giving off lately. Or maybe they're just renaming themselves. Maybe they're not going to be part of the Bullet Club anymore. Maybe they're going to leave the Bullet Club name with the Firing Squad. Because the Bullet Club has been around in New Japan for a very long time. As a faction. I mean, it was started by Finn Balor a number of years ago before he went to NXT. So, maybe the Bullet Club name has just kind of run its course. Maybe they're going to split these groups off. They're going to rename the Elite. Maybe they're just going to be called the Elite and have a new style of T-shirts and logos and things like that. Or, it could be something, something totally different. I mean, these guys are, self-promoting machines. So, they've got people talking. And I'm sure that was the whole point of all these posts. So they've got people talking and speculating. Are they going to WWE as a group? Are they just going to become like free agents and perform wherever, whenever they choose to? Are they just simply not going to be part of the Bullet Club anymore? So something to keep an eye on the next few months and see where this goes. From the NXT UK division, WWE has added another championship to the many that they already had, the NXT Tag Team Championships, which is now the 16th WWE Championship across all their different brands and divisions and everything. A picture of the title belts was posted on Twitter earlier today. I mean, they're nice looking belts. I like them a lot. But yet, I guess Triple H unveiled those at the NXT UK TV tapings today. And supposedly he's got some other kind of big announcement coming up today. Have to see exactly what that is. There's, again, a lot of speculation. And, gonna get into a little bit here of what's going on with the WWE Crown Jewel event. Now, of course, this is scheduled for November 2nd in Saudi Arabia. It would be the second show of the deal that WWE has in place with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's a 10-year deal to put on wrestling shows there. And, WWE has caught a lot of flack for this from the beginning, mostly because of the fact that women aren't allowed to perform there. And, I kind of get it's business, and there's a lot of money involved. I mean, WWE stands to make hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars off of this deal over the course of the next 10 years. And so I'm sure that's the main driving force behind the decision to do this. I mean, WWE is a business. Their bottom line is the most important thing. But I'm sure there was also, with their whole women's evolution going on, I'm sure there was also the thought there that, we want to be on the forefront of helping this country and this culture evolve so that maybe at the end of this 10 years we can have our women come over here and perform. I'm like I said, I'm sure that was at least part of the thought that went into this, with the Saudi government, basically saying, putting out there, they're basically trying to evolve their country and their culture and, change some of the old, outdated things that are traditions and things like that now. And I know I mentioned on an earlier episode that, stuff like that, as far as the women's rights and everything like that, it's not something that's going to change overnight. It's going to take time. But, I think I, like a lot of other people, was hopeful that they were at least working in that direction. Now, there's been some things that happened in the last week or so, basically regarding just general human rights that, I'm sure most everybody's seen the story by now, that a journalist for the Washington Post, who is a permanent U.S. resident, but also a Saudi citizen, has disappeared from the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, and by all accounts he was tortured and murdered by the Saudi government for basically speaking out against the government, being critical of the royal family and what have you. And if this is the case, I mean, you're seeing a lot of people that were a part of the what's called the Saudi Vision 2030 deal. A lot of people, a lot of corporations have been, quote unquote, suspending their involvement until until this is resolved, until, you know, everybody, until we find out what exactly happened, because nobody seems to know what happened to this man. The Saudi government obviously is not saying a whole lot about it, and so yeah, like I said, you're seeing a lot of people pull out of this deal just because, I mean, if this is the case, if this happened, I mean, you're talking about, you know, a violation of human rights on a massive scale. And, you know, you figure if you're going to evolve a country and a culture to bring it more in line with, you know, the values and everything like that of the rest of the world, for the most part, you know, I would think rule number one, you can't go around killing people for what they think. And, you know, that's just basic, again, human rights. And so WWE has been catching a lot of heat for you know, this show coming up, and a lot of people saying they need to cancel it and, you know, basically end their affiliation with Saudi Arabia and the royal family over there. Now, it sounds like from what's being reported this morning, you know, something is going on, because WWE took down, they didn't remove the pay-per-view from their schedule, but they did remove the ticket and venue information and any mention of Saudi Arabia from the event page for Crown Jewel. Now, what this says to me, and I'm hoping this is the case, is that they're planning to move the show. I mean, I'd hate to see them cancel it outright. They've got a phenomenal card lined up for this show, but I definitely think if moving it is an option, then they really should. I mean, they have TV tapings the following week in Manchester, England, Monday and Tuesday for Raw and SmackDown. The building where they're holding those tapings has nothing scheduled for that Sunday, which is November 4th. So they could potentially move Crown Jewel to Manchester, England. They wouldn't have to change the name. Crown Jewel works just great for a show in England. It would give England their first major worldwide pay-per-view since 1992. It would be, you know, would be huge for that country. You know, they've got 3 weeks to do this. That is plenty of time for them to announce the change, get tickets on sale, and I have no doubt it would sell out. I mean, they'd lose money. There's no way around that. They would lose money by doing this. But you know, at what point do you say the money's not worth it? You know, having this show in Saudi Arabia right now would be potentially a public relations nightmare for the WWE. Not to mention the fact that Linda McMahon currently sits on President Trump's cabinet as the director of the Small Business Administration, so there's implications there. And I mean, frankly, Linda McMahon is the only member of Trump's administration that hasn't had some kind of scandal around her. She's still got somewhat of a clean name, and this would, you know, I can only imagine this would cause problems for her in the political arena, and with Trump and Vince McMahon being, you know, so close. Obviously, Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. He and Vince McMahon are good friends by all accounts. So there's just a lot of political implications there that I don't think people would want to have to deal with. And you know, I just think all around the best decision WWE can make would be to move this show to Manchester, England, if that's a possibility. If it's not, I mean, if it came down to, you know, either having the show in Saudi Arabia and dealing with the consequences, or canceling it outright and dealing with those consequences, if it were my decision, I'd rather just cancel the show. You know, just make the announcement, due to circumstances beyond our control, the show's been canceled, and that's that. And move forward with, you know, whatever else is going on. Maybe move some of these matches to Survivor Series, you know, or something like that. And because this is just, I don't know, it's not, I don't know if it's something WWE could recover from. I mean, I don't think it's going to bankrupt them, but it would definitely tarnish their reputation pretty badly, I would think. So, like I said, they have removed the ticket and venue information from the show page as of right now. They've removed all mention of Saudi Arabia. So I think that's a good sign that hopefully they're going to be moving it. And Triple H did say he's got a huge announcement for the NXT UK tapings going on today. Hopefully that announcement is that Crown Jewel will be moving to Manchester for November 4th. I have to keep an eye on that and see what's going on. So that's that's pretty much everything that's been going on around the world of wrestling. Keep an eye on social media to see what if anything is going on with the Crown Jewel event. like I said, my best guess, I think they're going to announce that it's being moved. I mean, Vince McMahon is not a stupid man. He knows that there's going to be tremendous backlash, worse than what's already happened, just from the making the deal with Saudi Arabia. There's going to be even more from this, just because by all accounts, it looks like, somebody has lost their life, and it's not worth it, quite honestly, to me, as a human being, as a wrestling fan. It's not worth it. I like I said, I'd hate to see a show of this caliber canceled, but for these kind of reasons, it would be understandable, and it would be the right thing to do, and it would be the respectable thing to do. But again, that's my opinion. I'm not the one that stands to lose however many hundreds of millions of dollars it might be by pulling out of this deal. But I'm sure, WWE can take the hit, quite honestly, when it comes to financially. So, yeah, like I said, that's all I got. Hope everybody enjoys Bound for Glory coming up tonight. Like I said, looking forward to the Ring of Honor tapings that are going on tonight. Can't wait to see some of those matches on TV over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we should hear something sometime today about what's going on with Crown Jewel, or at the very least by tomorrow on Raw. We should see what's going on. So keep an eye on Twitter and Facebook, see what kind of announcement Triple H is going to be making. Again, make sure you're following the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and make sure you're checking the show out on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any place you find your podcasts. Feel free to drop me any comments, questions, anything like that on any of my social media or on any of the show pages. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So for right now, I am going to sign off. Hope everybody has a good week, and I will talk to you guys soon.